Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, we're very serious, and there's serious things that are happening right now between Thailand and Cambodia. There has been airstrikes on both sides at each other, despite the fact that President Trump orchestrated a peace arrangement a few months ago. Let me tell you why in just a second. A quick shout out for virtualshield.com/Paul. That's virtualshield.com/Paul. Patriots, 40 and up who have Gmail, listen up. Weeks ago, the biggest email hack ever just leaked 183 million passwords. Yours most likely is out there right now. Hand it to hackers who steal your social security number, maybe your bank details, and even your name to try to drain your savings accounts or rack up debt in your name. That's identity theft. Crooks pretending to be you, wrecking your credit, your savings, your life, while you fight to try to prove who you are. But here's your fix. Virtual Shield, identity protection. Just easily sign up. It'll scan the dark web daily for any leaked information of yours. If it sees anything, it'll blast an alert to you on your phone immediately if they see something fishy. And just like Gmail breach popping up, if thieves strike, there's a $5 million insurance protection to cover lost wages, legal fees, stolen money, and 24/7 there's U.S. experts handling the calls and the cleanup. All you got to do is relax. Sign up now. Go to virtualshield.com. It's only $4.88 a month. It's the cheapest full shield around. And really, it'll give you a peace of mind, okay? That's virtualshield.com/Paul. You'll be glad you did. So here's what we got going, because in the webinar, yes, get your tickets today. Some of you couldn't get to your tickets last week or over the weekend, but you can now. Go right now, get your ticket. It is the most talked about webinar ever. I knew it'd blow your mind. It's incredible information, especially if you want to know where we're at with this AI advancement. How, and one of the speakers tells you that the plan AI, artificial superintelligence, has determined that they want to end the human race by the 2027. The thing is, that is the super artificial intelligence. That's what it's thinking. We let it jump the ship. We let it jump over the fence, and now it's thinking for itself. But find out about all of the prophecies for next year, 2026. Okay, here's what's going on. We have a serious situation, of course, developing, as you guys know, in it happened this morning with Cambodia firing on Cambodia, and Cambodia firing back. There is at least 4 people dead, 4 civilians dead in Cambodia, and 8 injured. There's at least 1 Thailand soldier that is dead and 8 soldiers wounded. This was not supposed to happen. We got to look at why is this? Why is this? Friends, let me just say this, brothers and sisters, what's unfolding now between Thailand and Cambodia is tragic. But sadly, it's not surprising to me, because this morning, Thailand launched airstrikes along its disputed border with Cambodia after renewed clashes erupted. Clashes that have resulted in the loss of innocent lives on both sides, civilians in Cambodia, soldier in Thailand. And to understand why this keeps happening, we have to go back, far back. This isn't just a new flare-up. The border dispute between Thailand and Cambodia stretches back over a century to 1907. Back then, the colonial era treaty between Siam, which is now Thailand, and the French-ruled Cambodia drew a map of a boundary, but the exact locations were never surveyed and were never completed properly. That left swaths of territory, rugged hills and jungles, and ancient temple mounds in legal limbo. And one famous flashpoint over the years has been the ancient temple of Presh Vihar, a sacred site that sits deep in the national pride of both sides. And though an international court in 1962 awarded the cliff-top temple to Cambodia, surrounding lands have remained contested and disputed. But history and maps only tell part of the story. What really fuels the repeated outbreaks of violence is the deeply rooted nationalism, a sense of pride, honor, identity tied to the land, to the heritage, and to the history. Generations have been taught to see sovereignty and border not just as lines on a map, but as part of their sacred heritage and each nation's soul. So the politicians and the military leaders on both sides have often leveraged that passion, guys, to rally support, sometimes at the cost of peace. That helps explain why even after a ceasefire signed by President Donald Trump, indeed just months ago, a peace deal that was brokered under international pressure, President Trump even bringing them to the White House. So why did the violence reignite today? Because the peace deal resolved nothing about the border itself. Neither side accepts the final shared map. Trust remains fragile, and decades of suspicion and resentment and unhealed wounds remain. Then there's the accusations that's emerged anew. Landmines allegedly planted along the border, troops moving, and rockets being fired, and each side claiming the other struck first. And when these old wounds remain open, a single spark, real or perceived, can ignite a conflagration. And that's what's happening again today. And as believers in Christ, as people who pay attention to justice and peace and human dignity and prophecy, where Jesus said there will be wars and rumors of wars, and nations will rise against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms, we must mourn the innocent lives of the lost. Shed a light on the root cause, which is what I'm doing today, and pray for wisdom for leaders to stop repeating the same cycle of violence. And if we ignore history, if we misunderstand the ambitions, if we neglect the justice, the borderline drawn by the colonizers more than a century ago will just keep being used as fault lines of human suffering. Look, guys, this is why I keep bringing this up. President Trump wants to have peace. He wants peace. Excuse me. He wants the endless wars everywhere to stop. And this is one of them on his agenda. But even though what he was able to do, and to get even the leaders of both countries to come to the White House and shake hands and sign agreements, it's a local problem that's on a spiritual level when you're dealing with ancient temples and both groups of people believing it's theirs because they have the same religion, yet they can't get along because they're of different nationality. This is sad. And we need to pray. We need to pray for peace and pray for the people that were injured and pray for those families who lost loved ones. I don't know who in the world is strong enough to actually go in there and say, look, we're going to draw the line. We're going to make the border. And then we're going to, one way to do it would be to go in there and draw the border. Not everybody's going to be happy. But then that sacred temple that both nations claim, I would think probably the best thing to do is completely make it an international temple historic site, and that Cambodians and people from Thailand can go there, but use a peacekeeping force that guards the temple and the grounds around it, and you have to get in through a passport kind of thing, and you have to go through security, and then that way everybody, both sides, can share in the enjoyment of going to this temple, and tourists as well, because I'm sure a lot of tourists would like to go see this temple, being an ancient temple and very sacred to a lot of people, but certainly very interesting for anyone. Make it safe there and try to make the area safe. People just can't get along, folks. They just can't get along. I mean, look at the Hatfields and the McCoys. I mean, it started with a pig being somebody stealing a pig and shooting a pig. And next thing you know, for 100 years, those two families fought each other along the West Virginia, Kentucky border. People just can't get along. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. But we're certainly living, guys, in the last days. And the shadow banning continues. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Are you saved? I see geese flying high above the water, a child fishing with his father in the rain. I can smell blackberry brandy and chocolate-covered candy. I see a soldier crying on a train, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walk the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. Feel the deepness of his weakness. I can taste the brandy sweetness at a roadside Idaho cafe. I can hear old Teddy laughing, Fitzgerald's toes a-tapping to the roaring sounds of yesterday, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walk the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walk the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And a shotgun blast echoed across the page, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. California earthquakes are shaking, and so is Alaska shaking. We'll keep an eye on both of those situations and the sun that's erupted with a major solar flare yesterday, which was an M8 class, which may be the cause behind these earthquakes, and the volcano in Kilauea that erupted extremely powerful eruption that took place in Hawaii. So we're watching all of these things as the earth continues to shake and quake. Certainly, we're living in the end times. God bless all of you. I'll be back in a little while right here on the coming apocalypse. God bless all of you. We'll continue to track and see what else is happening that's of importance around the world. God bless.